Ahoy, it's Rob McLam. This is assignment 7.1, JMC 602, video podcast. We got social media, crash course navigating the digital information. We have injections and prepositions from Schoolhouse Rock. I will start for social media. I'll just do this systematically. The social media crash course navigating, I enjoyed that. I actually watched it twice. Really enjoyed listening to that. I think a lot of the things I've kind of thought in my head have been reinforced through listening to that. The one, if I had to pick one that stands out, it would be the sort of the advertisements and all that. I guess the cookies, maybe you would call it, where they find out what you're looking through, they find out what you're looking at, and then they tailor their suggestions around that, or advertisements, particularly in an attempt to get your money. I'll give a little example of that going on right now. Obviously I'm a sports writer, and I do a lot of travel. I actually coached football at the high school level and college level a little bit too, and I have a young man, long story short, he plays at Utah State, and one of his first games of the year, they'll be going to Seattle to play University of Washington Huskies, UW. And I've never been to Seattle, never been to Washington State at all. And I've always wanted to go there and check it out. And this would be a cool thing to do. I have the week off. The team I cover, NC State's on a bye week. And I could go up there, spend some time, watch the Mariners play, watch this young man that I coached, and, have a memorable experience. So I'm looking on the web. I'm looking at Seattle. I'm looking at, hotels. I'm looking at flights. I'm looking at things. And, of course, YouTube is one of my favorite channels. I go on YouTube and all of a sudden I get these links for a little radio show called Brook and Jubal in the Morning. And I had no idea what it was. Turns out Brook and Jubal in the Morning was a Seattle-based radio show, and that was on for a while. And I think they've split up. Brook has got another one now named Jeffrey, and Jubal does his own show. But for a long time they did the show together, and they do like second chance dates, where people would do dates, and I think it's scripted. It seems pretty obvious that it's scripted, but people would do dates, and they couldn't get the second date with the person. The person would hide and wouldn't answer their text, so they would send an email in, and these stories are hilarious. Again, I think they're scripted, but they're still funny. And as everybody watching or listening to this knows, YouTube, Wikipedia, things like that, those are notorious rabbit holes. Once you start clicking, you can just start going down. You've piddled away a whole day just watching videos and stuff, and it's happened to me. I've watched a lot of these Brook and Jubal second chance dates from Seattle, and it all stemmed from me just looking at Seattle as a place to visit for about 3, 4, 5 days, and the power of those cookies or attachments or whatever that suggested that. It's sort of like, the analogy I give is like my dad talking about when we were kids and we would ask him for money. He said, I could tell you no 99 times, but then the 100th time you'd break me and I'd give you the money. And even though I was working at a 99% efficiency rate, at the end, you're the one who won because you got the money. And that's kind of what the cookies are like too. They, you don't need to have a high percentage. You just need to get a percentage. And if you do that, they're going to get your time, and more than likely they're going to get your money too. So you have the Schoolhouse Rock next. Schoolhouse Rock, this has been a joy for me this semester, sort of like, seeing this for the first time in so many years. It's like Moses escaping from Egypt, or Jalen Brunson leading the Knicks to a title. I hope it doesn't last as long again. I hope I stumble upon the Schoolhouse Rock in my further studies, or just watch them just to reinforce it. I do find I'm learning though. The injections I knew about. I'm glad, you got idiots, doing the CDC thing, doing the COVID thing. I don't know if they need to see the injection video, but the preposition is one I tend to really kind of be weak at it, and it's unwitting. I think a lot of times I'll write in slang without knowing it, and I'll forget to put those prepositions in there. The injections, there may not be a value in it unless you're quoting someone, but I do think sometimes the injections can add a picture to the word puzzle, so to speak. I think they can add something to it so that the person reading can also visualize and see, ouch, or oi, I get that a lot when I'm studying Spanish. Oi, O-U-O-Y-E. I just think that adds a lot to the words, and kind of gives it a picture as well. And again, prepositions, to, with, such. I just tend to, for whatever reason, I think because I'm in a hurry, we shorten it. And maybe that's a form of writing slang, or English speaking slang. We all have it, a derivative of our language. We sort of shorten things. We all know about contractions, but that's another way to do it. The preposition is one I'm really going to try to make sure I reinforce over the next few semesters, and really over the rest of my writing career. So it was cool to watch that, and it was cool to see Schoolhouse Rock this semester.